Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in today. 2023, we have covered several different Linux distributions, and what I'm doing today is a video that I think covers the best Linux distros of 2023. Now, everybody's got an opinion, and everybody's got their own choices. These just happen to be mine. If you think I left one out, please drop it in the comments below and let me know about it. And if there's a distro that I haven't looked at, please drop that in the comments below and let me know about that one. But thank you guys for watching and enjoy the video. And as you can see, they have a very beautiful website, and it just basically states KashiOS is a distribution based on Arch Linux that offers easy installation, several customization options to suit every user, and special optimizations for improved performance while remaining simple. And then you go down here and they've got some screenshots of the KDE version. And what is KashiOS? It's got optimized packages. All desktop packages are compiled with LTO. Desktop environments they offer: KDE, GNOME, XFCE, i3, bspawn, LXQT, OpenBox, Wayfire, and Cutefish. And it comes with the Calamares installer and the kernel support. Linux KashiOS is using the Bohr scheduler and has a lot of performance improvements. They also provide other schedulers, which is the CFS, PDS, BMQ, Bohr, TT, Calcul. All kernels are compiled with x86-64 version 3 instructions and also available with LTO. And the default browser of KashiOS is the Kashi browser. Then we scroll down, help us continue our work. You can support them on PayPal or Patreon. And then, of course, a fast and secure download. Took about 10-15 minutes for me to download it. Like I said, we've looked at the KDE version before. Today we're going to be looking at the GNOME. But when you go to download, it lets you know up here you can install any edition provided by KashiOS using any GUI ISO from the online installer. There's a part in the installation program that'll give you the option to pick what desktop you want to use. But on their main website, you can download KDE Plasma, GNOME, and XFCE. That is under construction. So pretty much without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get on over to the desktop. Now, if you download KashiOS, throw it on a USB or put it in a virtual machine, this is the screen you're met with. And as you can see, they've got the main bar over here as opposed to on the bottom. And you can also hit the super key to bring up your desktops, or you can go back. But I do like the fact that this is pinned right here, and I don't have to hit a super key to bring that up. And you do get the KashiOS Hello, which I love about all Linux distributions that integrate this. It gives a new user or a brand new person to Linux a welcome. Here we are. Here's some base information that'll help you out. And it's kind of easy to get around. It's got documentation. You've got the README, release info, and the wiki. And then, of course, support. You got the forums and software. Project, you can get involved, help with development, donate, or you can launch the installer. So if you launch the Calamares installer, it gives you a choice, offline or online. Now, if you go with the online, it's going to give you a couple more options. And now that that's opened, you can see that we're in a virtual machine. So you'll see right here that it says there's not enough drive space and there are no partitions to install to. But if you come down here, it says welcome, location, keyboard, partition, and it gives you an option for desktops. Right here is where you're going to select what desktop you want it to install once you install it. And then, of course, packages you would like to have pre-installed, and then your user information summary, install, and finish. So it's your base Calamares installer. It's going to show you all that information. I'm going to go ahead and close out of this at the moment. Yes, I do want to close. And we are done with the KashiOS Hello. So we'll close out of that. And as you can see, if you come up here and click, it's got the new layout. So we are on GNOME 43, which is great. But you got a little bit more options up here than you used to in GNOME. You've got power, lock, of course. Then you've got your settings, screenshot tool, volume right here. And then you've got this little arrow out here. So you can click on that. And it gives you all your options right here for your sound output. Now, if you had a microphone, it would also have the microphone logo here and a selection to pick whether you wanted to use an external microphone or maybe the one that's built into your laptop. And then you've got balanced dark mode. You can shut that off and it'll go to light mode or dark mode. Then you've got balanced, night light, and a wired connection. Now, if we right click on the screen, you can change the background, and you do have different options over here. You've got the default, and then you've got dark. If you wanted to switch to dark or the default, you could. But right now I'm going to leave it on dark. And then also opens up your base settings on the system. While we're here, what I want to do is go ahead and go to About. And we will open that up and it lets you know it's Kashi OS. I've got 7.8 gigabytes of memory issued to it. And then an AMD Ryzen 9 processor. Right now graphics are software rendering. And it's a rolling release, 64-bit. 43.2 is the GNOME version, and the windowing system is X11. Now, what I would like to find out is what kernel we are presently using. So let's go ahead and do a search for the kernel. There's the Kashi OS kernel manager. We'll open that up and we'll bring it out here. And we are presently using 6.1.2-3, and it is stable. Now, you do have the option to come in here and pick any kernel that you would like to use. I do like that about Kashi OS and a couple of other distributions out there, but they don't hold back. They're not like a Manjaro. You're not running a little older kernel or older packages, so you've got that control right here. But that's in the kernel manager, and you can find that in your app menu. Now, we also have the terminal over here. Let's go ahead and open up the terminal because I do want to see if they have HTOP, and we'll go ahead and run that. They don't. Let's see if they have top, and they do. Let's go ahead and make that just a little bigger so everybody can see. And right now, like I said, I've got 8 gigabytes of RAM issued to this machine. At present, we're using about 740 with the terminal open, which isn't bad at all. Specifically seeing how we are in a virtual environment, so there might be a little bit more of the operating system running in RAM. But once you get it installed, I figure you're going to hover somewhere between 600 and 800, which is getting really good because anybody out there knows that it used to be GNOME was lighter, and then it started getting heavier, and then KDE was real heavy, and then it started getting lighter, and it's kind of reversed now. Both of them run pretty light, and when I say light, I mean they run less than a gig, and I have a lot of people out there that'll blow up my comments saying, less than a gig, heck, 200 megabytes is what I'm running. Well, that's great, but some of us like more than just a command line or a windowing system. Some like a desktop environment, and you have to give up a little bit in resources. But at the end of the day, you're still using less than 3 gigabytes of RAM, which is generally what Windows uses. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. And we will come back over here, and then you've got your Kashi browser. Let's go ahead and take a peek at that. Now, this is their own browser. And I do believe it's built on the Web GTK, or is it a spin? No, this is based on Firefox totally. So we will go ahead and maximize that. And it seems that you've got canvas presets and dark reader. So you got a dark mode out of the box. I do like that layout there. And then up here, what else do we have? We got canvas blocker, uBlock origin. So you've got some security right out of the box. So if we go over here and we do a search for eBuzz Central, let's see what search engine they're using. They're using Woogle. That is awesome. I like that. If you're not familiar with Woogle, you get all the advantages of Google, but you're not giving up your information and you're not letting them track you constantly. You're going to still have trackers, I do believe, but they will not be directly from Google inside of their search environment. So you've got eBuzz Central here, which is YouTube, Twitter, Patreon. So that's a pretty good search. And we'll go over here and we'll go ahead and go to the next page. There's some images there. So you've got a pretty decent environment right here. I do like the way they set this up. I do like the fact that they're using Woogle and they've kind of customized their own browser. I wish it had the home button, but we should be able to go over to more tools, customize toolbar. And can we? Yeah, you can put the home button up there. That's no big deal. So we'll drop that right there. Then we can close out of that, go home, and that pops up right there. So definitely take a look at it. I like the fact that they're using Firefox as a base. Now we will come over here. You do have your file manager, which is files. We'll scoot this over, and it's not a lot to talk about here. You've got your usual suspects over here, your home folders right here. So pretty much stays out of your way, lets you get your job done. They have added a lot of features back that they took out for a while, and they've brought them back, so I'm glad GNOME's doing that. Let's go ahead and close out of that. And then down here you have your system monitor. Let's see how close it is to what we pulled up on the terminal. See, it's showing that we're using 1.3 gigabytes. So it's using a little bit of memory to run the operating system in a virtual environment. Now I do want to go over here. Let's open this up. LFTP. Let's scroll. You've got Parole Media Player. What do we got under accessories? you do have your extensions manager. Let's see what kind of extensions they're running out of the box. We'll go ahead and make that a little bigger. App indicator and K status notification, dash to dock, of course, GNOME 4X user interface improvements, and we're running the pop shell. So that's pretty interesting. They're using the pop shell inside of CachyOS with an Arch base. I like that. So let's go ahead and close out of that. Let's pop back over here. Let's scroll over. Firmware, Archive Manager, Text Editor, Cavanta Manager. Then you've got disks, tweaks. If you're not familiar with tweaks, it's just another way to make changes to GNOME that aren't available in their regular settings menu. So you've got a lot of different things you can do there. So let's close out of that and come back up. And then System Tools. We got CachyOS Hello, the kernel manager we've seen. It comes with Octopi. Let's go ahead and open that up. And Octopi is a lot like Synaptic Package Manager. It's a type, search, and install type package manager. Let's do a quick search real quick for something like Krita. And there is Krita right there. I do like the fact of how quick that was. We can mark it for install. You can come down here and pick optional things that you would like to install with it. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to click OK. And once you have that selected, all you got to do is click this green arrow right here and it would install for you. So that's how quick Octopi can install. Do you really want to quit? Yes. So I do love Octopi. And then we'll come back down to System Tools. You got Alacrity, Install Your System, Cavanta Manager, CachyOS Package Installer. Now this right here is also what you'll see when you run the Calamares installer. Once you get to this, you can come over here and pretty much pick certain applications you would like to install. And you can go through here and pick as many as you want. You can come down here and click install and it will install them all at once. Now, if you select this during the install process with the Calamares installer, you will just select them, go ahead and create your user info, and then when you install the system, it'll go ahead and install those packages for you. Right here, it's got different repos and the different items that are in those repos, and then, of course, Flatpaks. Now, it says CachyOS includes this repository of Flatpaks for the user's convenience only, and is not responsible for the functionality of the individual Flatpaks themselves. For more, consult Flatpaks and Wiki. Basically, what they're telling you is they've included Flatpaks, and if you should have any issues, it's not on the development team of CachyOS. That would have to be something you would point towards Flatpaks. So let's go ahead and close out of that. We will come back over here, come back down to System Tools, Fish, we've already looked at that, Octopi Cache Cleaner, and I do believe that's it inside of there. And we will go back up here. And like I said, it's really nice the way they've got it set up. I think CachyOS is really on the ground running with becoming another Arch distribution that people can lean on, like a Garuda, like a Manjaro. Even though I do have issues with Manjaro, the way they hold things back, they say it's for stability, but I think sometimes them holding things back causes more problems than it does stability. So what do y'all think? Is CachyOS doing a good job? Are they creating desktop operating systems that you yourself want to try out or maybe install and use as a daily driver? Let me know in the comments below. Today we're going to take a look at the newest release of Garuda Linux. This one came out on the 5th of March, which is about 4 days ago. It's got some updated items in it that I really wanted to go over. The first thing you're going to notice right off the bat is you've got a little different look to the dock, and you've got a little different look up here to the top bar. One of the reasons is they have officially pulled Latte out of everything, for the simple fact that those of you out there in the know that Latte dock is now unsupported. There's not a developer so far that I know of that's taken it over. You've got a dock down here now that is more solid and stable. What I mean by that is you don't have the icons jumping off the screen or have to go into settings to adjust that, because this is based on just a regular KDE panel. So you get that dock down here. And then, of course, up top, you get the KDE top bar as well. Now, one thing I do want to point out is we'll go ahead and maximize that. You still get your global menu up here. We'll go ahead and minimize that back down. And this is your Garuda Linux Raptor. It's a rolling release, fast, friendly, performance-focused OS. Garuda is loaded with amazing tools and supported by the community. But I love this Garuda welcome screen. It gives you so many different things you can do right off the bat. You've got your Garuda Assistant right here. If you open it up, it gives you a lot of different options here. You've got maintenance, BTRFS and Snapper, system components, settings, system specs, other diagnostics. But I suggest if you do download Garuda and take a look at it, definitely go through and look at all the tools it comes with. If you're somebody that's using like an MX that comes with MX tools, you will truly love the time that Garuda has put into their assistant. And of course, it makes your job a lot easier when working on your system. I'm going to go ahead and close out of this real quick. And you've got Garuda Gamer, Garuda Settings Manager, Network, Boot Options, Boot Repair, and then of course a lot of different things you can do down here. Now, what I do like is after you do install Garuda, you'll install it. When you come back, it'll update, and it also gives you a menu where you can go in and install a bunch of your favorite applications right off the bat. You can go through and choose them all at once, and once you're done with that, click Apply, and it'll install them all at once, whether that be base applications or maybe some gaming emulators, whatever that might be. Now, one thing I do want to do is I'm going to go ahead and jump down here to settings real quick, and we're going to come all the way to the bottoms, and I want to go to about, because I want to verify that we are using its KDE Plasma 5.27.2, the most recent, and then your kernel version is 6.2.2-Zen1-1-Zen. So you've got the Zen kernel. Garuda, in my opinion, just keeps getting better. And honestly, one of the first things I always did anyway was get rid of the Latte dock for one simple reason. Let's go down here to System Monitor, and let's open that up real quick. And right here, it's got your overview. Let's let that load and give us some information here. And you're running about 1.2 gigabytes. Now, this would have been a little bit heavier in a virtual machine with Latte dock for one simple reason. Because Latte dock was using anywhere from 350 megabytes up to a half a gig of resources just to be running in the background. One of the first things I always did was get rid of Latte dock and just go back to my standard default panel at the bottom. That's me. Now, with them using just the KDE panels, I may actually install this on my Librem laptop and just leave it and use it for a while and see what my workflow is like as compared to just the default panel. I wanted to show you that real quick. Let's go ahead and close out of that. And I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. And one of the things I really love is their new default wallpaper. I love that look. It looks mean. It looks, I don't know. I just like it. I don't know why. And their splash screen, they've made some changes in their splash screen. It looks a little bit more up to date. I think if you download it and go through everything, you will like it as well. And then, of course, you can always come up here and click to open up all of your applications, whether it be your development, your graphics, your internet, multimedia, office, settings, system, utilities. And I did a video not too long ago that shows you if you don't like these icons right here, you can change those. It's rather easy. It's rather simple. So I just wanted to point that out. Now, what I do want to find out, do we have other wallpapers besides this new default, or do we still have all the other ones that are the same? We got some animated. Looks like we got a lot of the regular Garuda wallpapers, because I really do like this one. That was their old one right there that it came with out of the box. And it looks like you're going to have the standard wallpapers. Now, once you do install it, it does give you an option when you're installing all your extra software that you want to use. If you want to download additional Garuda wallpapers, you can. It makes things really simple. And then you get another batch of beautiful looking wallpapers. And then if we come up here, you've got your hidden icons up here. Night color control, Bluetooth, lock key status, things like that. I do want to say it looks like Garuda has done a lot of work on this release just to kind of, tighten things up a little bit now that Latte dock's not available. And Garuda is just, when you're looking at an Arch-based distribution and you want something that's easy to use, you want something that makes your job easy without a lot of flack. I get a lot of people that want to install Arch and they just have a problem with it sometime. At least that's what they tell me in the comments. If you disagree with me, hey, put that in the comments below. Now, it does come with Fire Dragon web browser. You can get the regular Firefox if you want to. And it comes with Dark Reader out of the box. Let's go ahead and maximize this. And we'll go ahead and close the Dark Reader notification. And then you got your new tab right here. And then if you go down here and you wanted to do a search, let's just put in eBuzz Central. 1L. You're going to have the SearX search results. I love SearX. It's very customizable. And there are a lot of things that you can do on it that you can't do with search engines. Now, you do get errors every now and then, like engines cannot retrieve results from Google, suspended too many requests. You can adjust this. Here it's got general, images, videos, news, maps, music, science. Go over here to preferences. We're going to go ahead and pull preferences up. We want to go over here to search engines. Now, you can pick whatever search engines you want to use. If you want to leave Bing in there, you can.
I usually get rid of Bing. I get rid of Google. I'll leave DuckDuckGo up. Neva I'll leave up. Quant. Those look pretty good to me. I'll just stick with those. And then you want to scroll down and make sure you hit save. Let's go ahead and hit save. And it saved them. If you want to go back home, you can. Just click on home, and then you can come back over here, do your search for eBuzz Central, and pull it up. And you shouldn't have that red notification anymore, and you don't. So you're not pulling anything from Google. You don't have Google timing out on you. Now, another thing you might notice is when you go to images in FireDragon, it's going to take a while to upload images. Go over here to Preferences. Now what you'll want to do is go to User Interface, Privacy, right here. Image Proxy is enabled. Go ahead and disable that. And save. Now go back home. Now when you do a search for eBuzz Central and open that up and click on Images, your images should load rather quicker than before. These are going to be slower than, let's say, a Google or a DuckDuckGo, but once they get loaded, you'll be able to scroll through them and you'll be able to see your images without an issue. You'll just have to go in and change that proxy setting. Now, what I do want to see is if I go back here, we got another error showing on Google. Now, I did change that. Let's go make sure that I saved it. Engines. Let's go ahead and check that again and click Save. Now go back home. Let's try that one more time. And there's no red flag, so that fixed. I don't know what I made a mistake with prior to that, but we got it fixed. So that's FireDragon. If you get a chance to download Garuda and take a look at it, one of the things I love is FireDragon. And I'm using it inside a virtual machine. It's a little sluggish right now, but once you get it installed on your main system, you don't have an issue with that at all. And that's pretty much a quick look. Garuda, one of my favorite Arch distros, one of my best daily drivers I've ever had. Over Manjaro, any day of the week. And it's also good for gaming. If you guys would like me to see me do a video about Garuda in gaming, I would want to do it with Linux titles that you can get off their software center, and then of course maybe some emulation, and then of course step up to Steam. I want to show you all three realms of gaming that you can do on it. If that's something you'd like to see, please drop that in the comments below. Zip on over to Garuda and download it. I'll be sure to click that link in the description below.
Today we're going to take a quick look at Manjaro's recent release, Sakaris 22.0.5, and I do like that they have a different background. I haven't looked at Manjaro in a while because I've been really loving Garuda, and actually most of my daily operating right now is being done on Tuxedo OS 2. It goes really well. It's really smooth. But like I said, I wanted to go ahead and take a look at Manjaro. I was on this for such a long time, 4 or 5 years. And then I just started having little problems with it. And I haven't really looked at it a lot. Haven't really been messing with it much. But we're going to look at the most recent release. Let's go ahead and close this out. It's got 492 available updates, so let's go ahead and close that. Now, you do have the Manjaro Hello screen. It's kind of like the welcome. It gives you the README, release info, forum, software, mailing lists. Of course, you launch the installer right here. And then down here, their Telegram, Facebook, and Twitter. But I do like the Hello screens. Now, one of the things I like about Garuda over Manjaro is it gives you so many tools right at install or right after your first install that you can do a lot of things like install gaming emulators, you can install drivers, you can install NVIDIA drivers. It's just a little bit more feature rich when it comes to the welcome screen. So, you know, that's one of the reasons I generally choose Garuda over Manjaro, but if you're not somebody that needs all of that, this will work perfect for you. So let's go ahead and close out of this. Like I said, I do like their new backgrounds, and I have people all the time go, why do you worry about backgrounds? Well, when you download a Linux distro, it's nice to have something with that distro that kind of separates it from everything else. If you're going to use your own backgrounds, that's fine, that's great. But with something like this, you get a nice look. Now, if we come down here, you've got your date and time over here, your hidden icons. You do have your notifications, Manjaro Settings Manager. Let's go ahead and open that up. And it's not opening up. So we'll just have to look at that here in a little bit. Your clipboard, lock key status, KDE Connect, Bluetooth. Of course, internet, USB device, sound. You've got your drop-down terminal. I do like this. You quake, You just click on it, it drops down, and you can pretty much do anything you need to do from right there. We ran a quick H-top. Right now we're using about 895 megs of the 4 gigs that I have issued to it. You know, it's Manjaro. It's going to run light. But I do like the fact that it does have the drop-down terminal. It's real quick. You don't have to go over here and click on console. I mean, if you want to stick with that, you can. It's going to give you the same information that you get with your Quake. We're running about 908 megs there at 3.83 gigs I have issued to it. And then, of course, let's close that out. You've got your 2 separate windows right here. You can go back and forth. There's desktop 1, desktop 2, and then, of course, your updates are right here and your peek at the desktop. Now, one thing I do like about this, if you're somebody that wants to install Manjaro or give it a shot, is KDE version right here. If you want to change the look of it a little bit, you can right click down here and enter edit mode, go over to more options. You can adjust your panel alignment, your visibility, your opacity, and of course I love the floating panel. I'm going to go ahead and turn that on and go ahead and close this and close that right there. And as you can see, it gives you rounded corners down here and a little bit of a floating look to it. Now, if you do open something and go full screen, let's go ahead and bump that up. As you can see, it goes to full again, so you don't have the rounded corners showing the background, so it adjusts there pretty well. Now, I do want to point something out. If you're somebody that likes using like GNOME boxes or VirtualBox or things like that to give different distributions a test drive, with this one, I had a little bit of a problem running it in GNOME boxes, so I am running it in VMware right now. It's running really smooth, so I wanted to point that out. You may not have the same issues, but if you do test drive it and try to do it in GNOME boxes, please drop a comment below and let me know how that went. And now, if you come over here, you've got your add and remove software. Let's go ahead and cover that real quick, especially if you're somebody that's new to Manjaro. One of the first things you're going to want to do here, this is where you get all the applications that you're going to want to use, and of course update your systems and things like that. Go up here to the hamburger menu, go ahead and click on that and go to preferences. And if you go to third party, it'll show that you can enable flat packs right here. If you're somebody that enjoys using flat packs, I would go ahead and click that on if I were you. Now, I do want to point something out here. You do have the ability to enable AUR support. But because Manjaro does hold back some packages and doesn't release them as quick as, say, like a Pure Arch or an Endeavor or even a Garuda, you might run into some issues with the AUR. You might have some dependencies that are missing when you try to run something from the AUR. So I just want to point that out. And that's another advantage I believe Garuda has over Manjaro, is that it doesn't have that issue. Everything is bleeding edge. It's up to date. And I do have Garuda. I've had it running for almost a year now on an HP laptop, and I've updated it over and over and over again. Never had any issues at all. So that's not something you're really going to have to deal with. And it's, I think, a little bit more upfront, user-friendly. I'll have people argue that fact because Manjaro was the flagship for user-friendliness Arch for such a long time. But I think Garuda has definitely taken that title from them. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. But this is where you would come over here, and if you wanted to do a search for something like GIMP, you could do it. And what you will see here is it's going to say that it's available in the AUR. I don't want to do that. And another thing about Manjaro, until you get it installed, you can't really search for any applications for the simple fact that it needs to be installed for this to actually update itself, so that way you can find the most recent packages. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. And if you wanted to change the look, all you'd have to do is come over here, right click, configure desktop wallpaper. You could change the wallpapers if you wanted to. Now this does have out of the box with this wallpaper right here. If you go to system settings and switch it to a dark mode, it'll actually change the wallpaper to a dark mode too. I know a lot of you out there that are used to using GNOME are used to that. It's in KDE now, and it makes things really easy to change, and it makes the overall appearance a lot easier to change as well. If we go down here to About This System, it'll let you know we're on KDE Plasma version 5.26.5. I think at present we're at 5.27.4 in the KDE release cycle, so you can see this is kind of behind a little bit. Kernel version, you're running 6.1.19-1 Manjaro. It's their own kernel, so this is more of a distribution of Arch as opposed to a spin, because Manjaro's using their own kernel. And then down here it just lets you know that we're, processors for AMD Ryzen 9, and then of course your systemd information is right here. I'm not going to really go over the settings here. They're pretty self-explanatory, and a lot of people have stated in my videos, please don't do it, it gets boring, so I'll just skip over that. And of course you've got Firefox down here.
And then console, let's go ahead and do something real quick. Let's run a Neo Fetch on it. And right there, it gives you the same information we had a while ago. It shows that we have 1,199 packages installed from Pac-Man. It's Plasma theme, of course, and then, of course, the Ryzen. Let's go ahead and close out of that. And then you've got your Dolphin file manager over here. I love Dolphin. It makes things really easy to do. It's light. I've got a little bit of lag there when I'm inside the VMware here. I wish it would run on GNOME boxes. GNOME boxes makes everything so much easier to use, especially in a virtual environment. But that's pretty much it. Now, I wanted to go over something over here. I have people all the time say they wish these icons were different. Just right click in this open area over here, go to large icons. You get a better feel, better look. And then, of course, if you don't want some of these things right here listed, all you got to do is come down here, right click on them and click hide. And then that gives you a little bit more space there as well. Just a different way to customize. And then if you want to do some splitting or you want to move files, you can hit split up here. And then, of course, you can take downloads and open your downloads folders and move those files wherever you wanted to go. So that's just something I like. I enjoy using Dolphin. I have a lot of people out there say it's missing some base features. I don't think so. It makes things real easy to use. Let's close out of that. And then if you come over here, you can open your app menu. Now, there's a way to change this too. I've had a lot of people point out that they don't really like this app menu. And if you don't, just right click on it down here and go show alternatives. You've got an application dashboard if you want to use it. Go ahead and click on the Manjaro icon. And then you've got more of a, for lack of a better term, a Mac feel to getting to different applications. I don't really think it looks like Mac. I've had people say that it does. I enjoy using it this way. This is how I have my KDE set up. But you also have other options down here too. If you wanted something a little less big, you could switch it. And then you have something smaller, more on the lines of like a Linux Mint or something like that. So that's easy to change. And that's one of the things I love about KDE. Customizing it is so simple. Let's go ahead and switch. And then we come down here and you've got all your applications. You are going to have a lot of KDE applications, Alyssa, FileLight. You do have Gparted out of the box, GwinView. And then, of course, KCalc, KDE Connect. You've got a lot of different things down here that you can utilize and just make your job easier. Now, one of the things I do like is it does come with OnlyOffice Desktop out of the box. I really enjoy using OnlyOffice. Probably because I find it easier to use than LibreOffice, and aesthetically, I think it just looks better than LibreOffice. Now, a lot of people are saying they don't care what things look like. I do. It's just my personal opinion, and there's other people out there that do. And one of the things I want to point out with OnlyOffice, when you're using it in KDE or GNOME or what, it doesn't respect the system theme for some reason. So you actually have to come over and change it yourself. Once you get it set up, you can apply it. There you go. And of course, you could auto interface scale, or you could change it yourself. Apply that. You can make it bigger or smaller. You can really customize it to the exact way you want. Let's go ahead and maximize that. And then if you open up a document, it'll load it up and you can get to working right away. And the toolbars up here are pretty easy to use. It just makes things simpler. What do you guys think about OnlyOffice? Do you use it? If you do, let me know about it in the comments below. And then come back up here, and then you've got your most recent here. And then, of course, we'll go back to all applications and scroll down, and you've got quite a bit to choose from. You've got Time Shift right here. This right here is a great tool for backing up your system. As a matter of fact, I do want to state, I had to use it a couple weeks ago. It was about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, on a system that I was using. And for some reason, I changed a wallpaper. And when I restarted the system, the wallpaper, I just had some hinky stuff happening. And what I ended up doing is just going back to Time Shift, refreshing from a previous snapshot, and boom, everything was perfect. I never figured out why the wallpaper messed things up, but I changed it since then, haven't had any issues. It was just one of them things where just something happened out of the box. Now, another thing that Manjaro has now is a Manjaro toolbox. And if you open it up, you've got your package manager, user interface, system information, hardware and drivers, system settings, file manager, file search. It's a nice little toolbox for them to use and include in it. Like I said, I still think it's falling and lagging behind all of the toolboxes and tools that you get with something like a Garuda. Garuda makes things so much easier. And I'm tired of hearing this excuse. People say they love Garuda, but they hate the way it looks. It's just horrible. Really, I did a video about 2 months ago, shows you how to switch everything up, use different icons. It takes less than 10 minutes to make Garuda look totally different. So I'm tired of hearing that excuse that Garuda is ugly. If something works for you, you can use it, and then you can customize it to make it look the way you want it to look. And let's close out of that and come back over to all applications, and we'll scroll down, and I think that's pretty much it. I'm not going to get too in depth. It is Manjaro. I have a lot of people say it's what Linux Mint is to Ubuntu, what Manjaro is to Arch. I would disagree on a few different things because you can't utilize the AUR the way you need to, especially when they're holding dependencies back. That's why, if you put these on a scale, the scale on my end is always going to tilt to Garuda, for the simple fact that it makes it a lot user-friendly to install things at the beginning, to set it up at the beginning. Now, I do want to say, this is coming from somebody that used Manjaro for almost 5 years for my businesses, and it's what I was using when I started my YouTube channel. I used to love Manjaro. I used to preach about Manjaro. I'm just letting y'all know. Today, right now, if you ask me if I wanted to go with Garuda or Manjaro, I would go with Garuda because that's what I truly love using, and it makes things a lot easier. But if you're somebody that's heard about Manjaro, you've heard good things about Manjaro, I would definitely zip over, download it, throw it on a USB, or open it up in a virtual machine and take it for a test drive. Today we're going to be taking a look at the newest release of Nabara. Now, if you're not familiar with Nabara, the way I would describe it is to Fedora what Linux Mint is to Ubuntu. Nabara is actually created by Glorious Eggroll. You all know him in the Linux community, and he wanted to come out with a version of Fedora. Now, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. It's not a spin of Fedora. It's not a distro of Fedora. What it is he's using Fedora's base, yes. But what he is doing is he's making it more point-and-click friendly. So a lot of things that don't come out of the box with Fedora, it's already installed, whether it be RPM Fusion, Wine dependencies, OBS Studio, third-party codec packages, all of those are already in there. And third-party drivers such as NVIDIA, and even small package fixes here and there. So that's the beauty of it. So when I said at the beginning of the video, it's Linux Mint to Ubuntu is what Nabara is to Fedora, it just takes all the pain in the butt work that you usually have to do once you install Fedora, takes that out of the way, and it's already taken care of for you. It's really awesome. Now, what this does is it makes it more point and click friendly, but those of you who love using the terminal can still use the terminal to your heart's content. Now, in this newest release, they've fixed a lot of bugs and gaming-oriented updates, whether it was kernel patch with cherry-picked Zen patches or AMD CPCCs. If you scroll down a little bit more, NVIDIA GPU detection and driver auto installation has been updated. Video codecs, a post-installation codec installer asks the user if they would like to enable and install various important codecs. Blender, available FFmpeg support, available with HIP support, DaVinci Resolved. Dependencies are installed. Yes, it works easily on a fresh install, which is awesome because I'm using DaVinci right now on an Arch-based distro, and I had to jump through a few hoops to get it taken care of. OBS Studio Wine. What I'll do is I'm going to link everything that I'm looking at here. I'll make sure to put that link in the description below, and you can really go read everything that they do for this distribution. It is really awesome, and it makes using Fedora easy. Now, I'm going to call it Nabara because that's what it is. And they've got 3 different versions that you can download. Let me go ahead and click on download. You've got the official version right here, and you've got a GNOME version, and you also have a KDE version. Now, I've looked recently at some KDE versions of different operating systems and GNOME, so we're going to go with the official today. I already have it downloaded, so what I'm going to do real quick is zip on over to the desktop so we can take a look at it. And if you download it, throw it on a USB and boot into it, whether in a virtual machine or from the USB, this is the screen you're met with. Right off the bat, it immediately opens up the Calamares installer. That's what they're using out of the box. This installer is real simple, guys. You've got a welcome screen, location, keyboard, partitions, users, summary, install, finish. If you've installed anything, whether it be Windows or Linux, you'll know what's going on here. It's quite obvious. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. I do love the background. Yes, we want to cancel that. And it looks like we're using the Budgie desktop environment, which is based on GNOME, but I do like the overall look. You get a single panel down here on the bottom. Now, first thing I want to do, let's zip on over to settings, and that's the same base settings, accessibility. There we go. There's about. Let's go ahead and open that up. And it shows that it's Nubara, and I'm using 7.8 gigabytes, well, 8 gigabytes of RAM, AMD Ryzen 9. Huh, that's odd. Did you all see that? Well, let's wait and see if that recovers. Well, let me try to refire it up in a virtual machine and see what happens. Please stand by. Okay, let's try this again. We'll test the media. This time I will let it go through the check. Make sure that aborting the check previously didn't mess anything up. That's quite odd. Now, I did try Nubara about 4 months ago and had some issues with it. I don't know if they were just, on my end or me doing something wrong, but I did have issues with it and had to switch distributions. So maybe it's just me. Maybe it was just an accident, but let's try this again and see if it lets me get into everything over here. Okay, it popped back up. So let's go ahead and close out of that. And the installer will quit and change and all will be lost. Yes, so there we go. Let's try this again. Now what I'm going to do this time is let's go ahead and just look for a terminal. And what I want is to see if they have NeoFetch. They do have NeoFetch. And it seems as though, let me go ahead and maximize that so y'all can see it. And let's go ahead and make that a little bigger. We're running kernel version 6.0.16-301.fsync.fc37.x8. And window manager is Mutter, and everything else looks pretty fine. So let's go ahead and close out of that. Let's right click. If we start messing around here, is it going to crash on us again? I really don't know what happened. Maybe it was an issue with VirtualBox. Maybe I hit a wrong button. But anyway, let's go ahead and get down to the bottom bar. This is pretty self-explanatory. You've got date and time right here. You can select your weather location right here if you want to. Add world clocks, power, volume, and internet. We've got night light setting, dark mode. If we click on that, it should go to a light mode. Yeah, I want to go back to dark, wired, clipboard, and then, of course, you've got your tiled windows. Now, if we open up, let's go ahead and open up Firefox. Let's go ahead and open up File Manager. And if we hit Tile, let's go ahead and click Tile. It automatically tiles them. So this happens if we open up Software Center, it tiles it. So it pretty much takes care of everything in and of itself. So you've got kind of a tile manager right out of the box, or we can close that and go back that way. So I'll go ahead and close those out. So that's a nice little tool to have right there. I know it's real popular with a lot of Linux distros, so Nubara has it out of the box. So if we go back over to your settings again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these. You've got appearance settings, notifications. You can adjust your display resolution. Let's scroll down a little bit. You've got date and time, about. So changes that you want to make, you can make over here. They're pretty easy and pretty self-explanatory. And if we come back down to the bottom, you've got the Nubara Package Manager. Let's go ahead and open that up. And right here, it will give you packages, groups, history, and queue. We're going to let it go ahead and update its repository metadata. And then we will go from there. And it seems that it's refreshing the repository metadata. And it did everything. Nubara Only Office, Nubara RPM, RPM Fusion Free, RPM Fusion Non-Free. It did quite a bit of downloading, but right now it's refreshing. And I like that animation. It shows you that it's refreshing it and getting it taken care of. So we'll give it just a little bit longer and we will continue. And it is finally complete, and it shows that you can check for updates. You can check for installed, available, getting available packages. Now, my question is if I do a search, let's say we were searching for something like Krita. Hit enter. There's Krita right there. So we could pull that up. And something like GIMP. Okay, so all those packages are available. So this is more of a type search install application here. The Nubara Package Manager. I'm trying to think of shortcuts. There's shortcut. So you can pretty much get anything you need on here and install it. So that's a quick look at that. We've got groups, history, queue, and packages, of course. So if you do download this, take it for a test drive, check out their package manager. I really like it. Reminds me a little bit of Synaptic Package Manager. So we'll go ahead and close out of that. And then right here, you do have a software center if you would want to use that. And I think you could just come down here, and if you wanted to get something like boxes, you can install it from FlatHub or from Nabara Linux, which uses the fedoraproject.org package. So you can get Flatpaks or you can get the Nabara version. So that's pretty nice. And then you could come over here and you could also do searches here, I do believe. Let's go over here and type in GIMP, and it brings it up right there. And you're going to get a little bit more aesthetically pleasing look here, or you could do it through their package manager in and of itself. So I'll go ahead and close out of that. And then file manager, of course, is Nautilus. It stays out of your way. It's lightweight. You've got your usual suspects over here. Home folders right here. Let's close out of that. Firefox, and then you can install the system, which is Calamares. We saw that at the beginning. Let's go ahead and open this up. Let's go to, these are favorites. Let's go to all apps. So we've got accessories, which will be clocks, connections, extension manager, gedit, open RGB. So you've got quite a few. What do we got for Office? Oh, it comes with only Office out of the box. That is awesome. Now let's see if only Office will respect the actual theme that the operating system's using, because I've noticed that's been an issue in the past. Let's go with interface. Yeah, same as system. It just doesn't respect it because we're in a dark mode. So I'll go ahead and make it dark automatically, and then there you go. And then, of course, you can make it bigger if you wanted to. You could come over here and scale it to 125, especially if you got bad eyesight like me. So you get only Office out of the box. Let's see what else we got over here. Let's go to all apps, graphics, Inkscape, and photos, internet, sound and video, Pulse Audio, videos, cheese. Let's go to all apps, system tools. Fedora Media Writer, install system, time shift. Great tool. Great tool. I recommend to everybody, once you get this set up, if you use the BTRFS file system, make sure you check mark it here. If you don't, you can just leave it on rsync. Then you could go next, and it'll show you the disk that you're going to be backing up. Of course, this one is in a virtual machine, so it's not going to show that, but you just click that disk and go ahead and click next, and then you could create a snapshot of that disk. I do recommend that you get your system completely set up and ready to go before you make that snapshot. So if you should run into an issue in the future, all you got to do is go over there, click on it, and it returns it to the way you had it before there was a problem. And we'll go back to system tools. We already looked at that. And utilities, archive manager, system monitor, terminal. Let's go ahead and run us a quick top, see what kind of resources we're using here. I've got 8 gigabytes issued to this machine. Right now, with just the terminal open, running in a virtual machine, we're running 1.7 gigabytes of RAM at use at present. Now, I do want to say this, because we are in a virtual machine, there is probably some of the operating system that is running in the RAM. So once you get it installed, I do believe it'll be a lot lighter on your system. But if you do download it, install it, please check back with me and let me know how it's running on your system. We'll go ahead and close out of that. But it's nice, guys. I think it's got a clean interface. Budgie desktop. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. I mean, I really enjoy this operating system, guys. Like I said, I tried to use it prior, had some issues, and had to go to something else. I'm going to go ahead and install this on my main machine to see how it works. I do have it on a backup laptop that I put it on yesterday and haven't encountered any of the problems I had prior. But I will keep you updated. I will let you know what's going on. I like the overall look of it. If you're somebody that likes Fedora, if you're somebody that wants the ease of use of something like a Linux Mint, I'd say go download it, throw it on a USB, put it in a virtual machine, take it for a test drive. I don't think you'll be disappointed.
For the last 30 days, I've been using Tuxedo OS. I've been using it on a Tuxedo Pulse 15 Gen 2 laptop. And I've got some more information coming about the laptop in the future because I'm actually doing a 90-day test drive on it. But I just wanted to kind of go over what I've been using and what I think of it. Now, Tuxedo OS is an Ubuntu-based operating system. Now, I can't tell you how long it's been before I actually daily drove something that was either Ubuntu-based. It's probably all the way back to Linux Mint, which would have been my cutoff about 2012, so a little over 11 years. But I can't tell you how happy I've been using this operating system. Now, I also have Tuxedo OS on a backup laptop that I use as well. but the operating system in and of itself is just priceless. Paired together with the Tuxedo laptop is just unreal. One of the things I really like about it is the Tuxedo Control Center. It gives me a lot of different things that I can do and adjust on my PC with just one click. I can come over here. I've got a dashboard. It tells me what my CPU temp is, my CPU frequency, and then, of course, what my CPU fan is doing. But most of the times, I never even hear the fan kick on in this laptop. Even when I'm rendering video, it comes on very seldom, which is very surprising to me. And these temperatures stay pretty low, so that lets me know that the way this laptop is designed, it's definitely designed to keep the internals cooler, so that's definitely an improvement over some of the other laptops I have used. And then you've got profiles up here. You can click on your profile. You can set it to an extreme power save mode if you want. You can set it to a low performance for light office tasks and a very quiet fan. Then you've got office and multimedia. You can click that on with one set. Then you got your Tuxedo defaults, which is what I run generally most of the time, and it works beautifully. If you look down here, you can see the battery down here is at 61%, and it says I've got about 3 hours and 32 minutes remaining. I am running OBS in the background, and I'm just doing a little bit of showing you what's going on in this operating system. So, of course, the battery is going to run down a little quicker. But with a full charge and me doing my daily tasks, I generally get 2.5 days out of a full charge, which when I try to put Linux on other laptops that aren't designed specifically for the Linux environment is a lot better, because I was usually getting maybe 3/4 of a day or a day. Even when I had Auto CPU Freak put on them, I generally had to keep them plugged in, especially like right now. I'm doing this recording, OBS is running, and I don't have it plugged in for the simple fact that it doesn't need to be plugged in. On my Asus ZenBook, I would have to have it plugged in, or the battery would just sit there and you would hear the fans kick up, and it's just really nice, and it's an enjoyable experience. And then you've got tools over here. You can change your crypt password if you want, shutdown timer you can adjust. Then you've got your Tuxedo defaults right here. And you can adjust your displays. You can adjust your fan control right here. If you're doing heavier work, you can set it up to be quiet, more balanced, cool, freezy. I generally leave it on balance, and it runs perfect for me. It's beautiful. System performance. Right here, it says CPU power limit control. You can adjust this if you want to, up or down. And then, of course, your CPU frequency control. This control center is just awesome, guys. It's really neat, and it really helps let you know exactly what's going on inside your system. And then you've got some settings down here. You can click on that. CPU settings, fan control, both of those are activated. And then a chroma subsampling right here for your HDMI and your EDP cards. You can adjust those as well if you want to. Battery charging options, full capacity, reduced capacity, stationary use. Now, this is very significant, reduced charging speed and battery capacity for when you're using it direct plugged into the wall. So that way it's not completely charging up and then continually trying to charge, or you have to unplug it. It just gives you a lot of different options here. So definitely check that out. And this right here, let me just explain to you, the control center sometimes works on laptops that I install it on, and sometimes it doesn't. So your experience may vary there. So, because you can get this operating system without the laptop and you can install it and use it. So that's just something to keep in mind there. And then support and info. But that's one of the great tools I like with this whole setup and with the laptop in and of itself. And if you come down here, you got your regular applications over here. But what I want to do real quick is let's go ahead and do an HTOP. And right now with OBS running in the background, I'm at about 2.6 gigs of the 16 gigs I have issued in this machine. That's the way it came, and it's plenty of RAM. Anything I want to do, I can do. I can do my design for my thumbnails while my video's rendering, and I can render my thumbnails, and everything just runs smooth, and it's very, very easy to use. That's not too bad, especially with OBS running in the background. But what I do want to do real quick is let's close this. Let's go back over to settings, and I'm going to come down to the bottom. We'll go to About System. Now, one of the things I really like when I was using Arch distributions was being able to have the most up-to-date versions of everything. And that's where you're going to fall into one of those areas right there. Like with this, right now I'm running KDE Plasma version 5.24.7.
I think we're already up to 5.26, and I think 5.27 is getting ready to come out. But I do know Tuxedo OS 2 is getting ready to drop, and when it does, I'll be able to update that here. That's the only thing, and really the only thing I'm missing right now is being able to set this up to a floating panel down here. But other than that, it's KDE. It's easy for me to use. Graphics platform is X11, and the kernel version is 6.0.0-1010-OEM. So you get an unmodified kernel, and it runs smooth, guys. Everything I've thrown at it, it works very well with. Processor is AMD Ryzen 7 5700, and then of course the memory was 16 gigs. And I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. And it does come with some beautiful wallpapers. You can also get the Tuxedo wallpapers when you download the OS. I kind of like the one I'm using in the background, but it does have some beautiful landscapes and oceans. But I really just like the base look of that one right there. And then I've got my main applications that I use down here. I've got OBS, Kdenlive, Shotcut, VLC, OnlyOffice, GIMP, Boxes, VirtualBox, Spectacle, Console, and then of course Clip Grab. Now, did I do a Neo Fetch? I don't think I did. Let's go ahead and run that at you real quick. Let's go ahead and make that a little bigger and make this bigger so you guys can see it. And it lets you know up here, this is a Tuxedo Pulse 15 Gen 2. And then down here, it kind of gives you some information. You're running Plasma 5.24, which we already covered. And then, of course, Tuxedo Breeze theme. And the icon theme is Breeze. But really, Tuxedo OS has really surpassed my expectations. For somebody that was using Garuda and was using really Arch-based distros, period, point blank, I've been using this one, and one of the reasons I've got about 60 more days on this laptop, and then I'm going to do a major video where I show to you that I have taken this laptop, and the one that I'm running right now, and I've replaced 3 separate laptops that I was doing my businesses on, which was my IT business and, of course, my mobile promotion business. This has totally replaced all 3 of them, and I have not missed a beat. The only issue was getting all my data off the other ones onto this one. It just took a while. No problems, just took me a little while to do that. But once that was said and done, I use this every day. This is what my clients see. And it's amazing when I do open it up and I start moving around it, people are like, what is that? And I tell them it's Linux. And it's just another way for me to hook more people onto Linux. As a matter of fact, I do have a client right now that is actually, I think, trying to get with Tuxedo because he wants to use their laptops as opposed to the Dell laptops he has been using. And what I will do is I'll put a link in the description below for the operating system itself and also for the laptop so you can kind of zip on over and take a look at it. Tuxedo has been really nice to me, helping support this channel. I'm telling you right now, I agreed to nothing with them. What I'm giving you is my honest opinion. I told them that in the email that, hey, I'll be more than happy to look at it, but I'm going to give my honest opinion, whether it be build quality, whether it be problems I'm having with the OS. And as of right now, after 30 days, guys, I have absolutely no complaints. It works flawlessly. It's very snappy. Everything is just really smooth. Like I said, I just wanted to do something a little different today. I wanted to kind of give you a view of what I've been using for the last 30 days. And I've got 60 more days on it, and I will definitely give you some more updates. But right now, I suggest if you want to give Tuxedo OS a shot, like I said, I'll put the link in the description below. Zip on over, download it. Throw it on a USB, throw it in a virtual machine, and take it for a little bit of a test drive. I'm pretty sure you'll be very happy with it. The newest release of one of my favorite Linux distros, which is Ultramarine. Now, they've made a few changes, and they've changed a couple desktop environments, which I think is going to be really, really nice. Now, Ultramarine is Fedora-based Linux distribution, and what they do is they tweak it. They add a lot of things out of the box that you have to add to Fedora just to get it up and running when you first install it. Ultramarine does that for you and makes everything completely easy. And it's designed to be a workstation or battle station, whatever you want to call it. And it keeps up with the latest and greatest software in the open source community. Now, it's based on Fedora, and it's designed to be 100% bug for bug compatible with Fedora, which means you can actually run a migration script that if you're already running Fedora, you can click on this script, run it, and it will actually convert it to Ultramarine, but it's still bug for bug 100% compatible with Fedora. It's developer friendly, and it's got sane defaults. And then, of course, we've got some reviews down here. You can see one of the last ones I did is right there. Now, what I do want to show you is if you go to download, I've covered the flagship version, which is Budgie, and I've also covered the GNOME version. And they do have a Pantheon version, but I'm excited to announce that Ultramarine does now come with a KDE Plasma Edition. Now, it's got a custom layout, which is inspired by Pop! OS. This is something I'm really excited to see because I haven't even started it up yet. I wanted to look at it first with you guys, so that way when we're looking at it, we're looking at it together for the first time. So, without any further ado, I want to go ahead and get on over to the desktop. And there it is. If you download it, throw it on a USB, open it in a virtual machine, you will have Ultramarine KDE. Now you can see the inspiration they're getting. They say it's inspired by Pop! OS. So if you come down here, you've got a panel down here, show desktop here, and then you've got your hidden icons right here, which is notifications, clipboard, lock key status, KDE Connect, and then internet, USB, and of course sound. Then you will have your calendar right here. And then if we come over here, you've got your application menu over here. And now if we come back down bottom, you have Firefox, you have terminal, settings. First thing I want to do is let's go to settings. Let's scroll down here and look at about system. And we're running KDE Plasma version 5.26.4, and kernel version is 6.0.15, and the graphics platform is Wayland. Now, if we go back up top and we go to Appearance, you've got the Ultramarine theme right here, and as you can tell, it contains the desktop layout. Now, the reason I point this out is you've also got a Fedora layout, and then, of course, your Breeze, Breeze Dark, and Breeze Twilight. If you're not familiar, if I wanted to change over to the Fedora, I would click on that. And now this little window pops up. Now, if you want to change the appearance settings, you can. You can also change the desktop and window layout, which would move everything back over where it would be on a normal KDE, but you would have to check mark it right here. And then click apply. I'm not going to change that right now. I'm going to stay in this Ultramarine layout. But remember, if you want to change, let's say you were on Breeze Twilight and you wanted to switch back over to Ultramarine, it's going to say appearance settings and desktop layout if you wanted to go back to this layout. So remember that. That's one of the new features of the newer KDE releases. It gives you more customization opportunities across your desktop. So just remember that. So I'm going to close out of that, and I want to go ahead and drop down here, and I want to go ahead and see if they have HTOP. And they do. Right now, with just the terminal open, I'm at about 1.6 gigabytes of RAM being used. It's a little heavier than normal, but I think I might be running a little bit more in the RAM because I am in a virtual machine and I've only got 4 cores issued to it. So that's something to look at. I am going to install this on hardware later, and once I do, I will definitely give you an update because this is beautiful, guys. I love what they've done with KDE in this situation. They've kind of given it their own custom feel. I know a lot of you out there are saying it doesn't really matter to me, KDE's KDE, but I always like to see something new in the Linux community. If you disagree with me, please drop that in the comments below. So we'll go ahead and close out of that. And we were just in settings. I'm not going to go over that. I've covered settings quite often in previous videos. And right now we're at Dolphin File Manager, and I love what they've done with the look here. You've got the transparency in the background, so the wallpaper is going to bleed through a little bit. And you've got your usual suspects over here, and of course your home folders right here. And for all of you that panicked with Dolphin on other releases that doesn't have all your pictures and videos and downloads folders there, they're already there out of the box for you here. So, and then down here you've got your devices, and then of course Ultramarine removable devices, trash, Dolphin. Great file manager, very powerful file manager, lets you get work done, and also gives you a lot of tools to make that work a lot easier. So let's close out of that. And then if we come up here to the menu, you've got favorites, all applications, you've got aggregator, ARC, crash processes, DNF Dragora, which is to install and remove software. Let's go ahead and open that up and take a peek at that. And if you guys have never used this reminds me a little bit of Synaptic Package Manager, which is more of a type search install tool. If you're familiar with that, you could definitely be familiar with this, but once it refreshes itself right here, I'll show you exactly how you use it, exactly how you search for software and what you would do to actually install it. So we'll let that refresh and then we'll move forward. So it has completed refreshing, and it refreshed everything, guys. It refreshed the Terra packages, the RPM Fusion packages. It pretty much went out and got everything fresh. And you can come up here and you could pretty much do a search. Let's do a search for something like GIMP. We'll go ahead and do that search. And there is GIMP right there. So all you would have to do is click on it. And if you wanted to install it, just come down here and click apply. That is how easy they make it. You could do that for any application that you wanted to install. Let's go ahead and do something like Kdenlive. And it's got Kdenlive 22.08 or 22.12. So if you wanted the newest version, you could just come over here, click on it, and then come down here and apply. It makes it that simple. That's DNF Dragora. It makes installing on here so simple, so easy. Like I said, if you can use Synaptic Package Manager, DNF Dragora is going to be totally easy for you to use. So let's go ahead and close out of that. Let's go back up here. Let's go to all applications. And then you do have Discover Software Center. I recommend just getting rid of that and just relying wholly on DNF Dragora. Dolphin, Dragon Player, Alyssa, Firefox, Firewall. You could set that up if you needed to. HTOP, K-Address. So you're going to have a lot of the KDE applications here. Camosa, KCalc, KDE Partition Manager, KMag, KMail, Contact Console, KPatience. You do have the Latte Dock here. You've got LibreOffice installed out of the box. PIM, Data Exporter, Spectacle for screenshots. And then your system monitor. Let's see if it's giving us the same info that we were getting on HTOP. And it's not. It's giving us 2.5. And like I said, once you install this, and it's not using RAM in the background, those numbers will drop exponentially. So let's go ahead and close out of this. Next thing, I want to go right click. Let's configure desktop and wallpaper. And let's see what kind of wallpapers we do get. We've got the dark version, which we're looking at here. And then you would have a light version there. Kind of like that. I mean, either way, it looks really nice. And then you're going to have your KDE suite of wallpapers that you get with most of your KDE distributions and your KDE desktop environment. So that is definitely a great looking operating system. If you're somebody that likes Fedora and you're somebody that likes using RPM Fusion and things like that, but you want those tools installed out of the box, you can't go wrong with Ultramarine. And now that they actually have a spin that's got KDE, now I do want to tell everybody this is a spin. It's not a distribution. Ultramarine is a spin of Fedora because it's using the Fedora kernel in the base of Fedora. So it's a spin. It's not a distro. They haven't changed the kernel in any way, and they haven't modified it anyway. Like I said, it's 100% bug for bug compatible with Fedora. If you're already running Fedora 37 and you want to use Ultramarine, you can run a migration script and everything will migrate to an Ultramarine look and all of their tweaks that they've made, but you still have that solid Fedora base.
Today, we're going to be taking a look at the newest release of Nitrix. Now, this is an operating system I've been looking at on and off over the past 18 months. And this is a project that I believe with every new release, it's just more and more impressive. Now, it is based on Debian with KDE Plasma and frameworks, and app images is its biggest way of installing software. Now, I do want to go ahead and go over the release announcement real quick. I do have people in my comments go, why am I going to sit here and watch a video with you reading off a website? Because sometimes people don't actually go to the website and read the release announcements. And I think it's very important to know what is changed in the operating system, what they have updated, what bugs they have fixed. And sometimes it's easier for me just to let you all know about it. Now, the code name for this release is UT, which refers to both the kernel and the Nitrix update tool system. And if you go down here, it just kind of lets you know that Firefox version 117 is on it, Mesa, Calamares, kernel boot to version 0.0.7. They've added a check to ensure that the kernel boot is used in support hardware, specifically ensuring that the kernel boot is not used in devices using NVIDIA hardware due to how NVIDIA proprietary drivers work within the Linux kernel. AMD open source driver for Vulkan. And then we can scroll down here a little bit more. Updated ZSync 2 and libapp image update, MauiKit and MauiKit frameworks to 3.0.1. They've also added components to this distribution. MIME type icons to love, sidebar icons to KGPG to love, Calamares cannot enable auto login in the SDM Plasma Wayland session. These are things that they've fixed. Live ISO with Plasma Desktop requires manual login. NVIDIA X server settings. Waydroid does not work with errors. Partition Manager 23.04.3 does not list any partitions. And VirtualBox fails to build kernel modules with DKMS. These are things they've fixed or closed. They've removed the following components: iBus specific packages, and the MAUI settings application is removed from this release. And then, of course, you can download it. And then if you want to know about known issues, you can click here, Notes, Report Bugs, Resources, Get Involved. I really like the overall look of the operating system, and I love their website because they give you all the information you need. It does come with the 6.4.12-2 Liquorix kernel, and if you want to look that up, that gives you more things for audio and video. Now, if you scroll down here to download it, you can go with ISO. You can get it from FOSS or SourceForge. I would recommend FOSS or a direct HTTP download. FOSS really quick for me. Didn't take but maybe 7 minutes to download it. You just come down here, find out what you want to download right there. You can go with a torrent, a U-magnet link, or a hybrid. That's up to you. So what I'm going to go ahead and do right now is we have this open in Firefox. I'm going to close it out. And this is what you see when you download it, and either install it or run it in a virtual machine or boot it from a USB. Now, like I said, it's based on KDE. I like what they've done with it. A lot of people think that the background and wallpaper is hideous. At least that's what they have had in past comments on videos that I've done about it. And first thing I want to do is just see what kind of wallpapers we have and see if we can get something that's a little less loud, in my personal opinion. They do have a good selection of wallpapers, and they're good looking wallpapers. They're not just the KDE out of the box wallpapers, even though those are there. I'm going to see what this one looks like. I really like that one. That's not as bright and as loud as the other. We'll just go ahead and stick with that. Now, first thing I want to do is go ahead and come down here, and as you notice, when you click on the app launcher, you get a GNOME type interface, which I think is really nice inside of a KDE distribution. You've got OInstall, Arca, Bonsai, Firefox. You can install Seam, install itch.io, Nitrix, Heroic Games, Bottles. So they give you a lot of things if you're a gamer. I think the Liquorix kernel would work well with you. I'm doing some gaming right now on Garuda, and it uses the Zen kernel. I haven't had too many problems with it. So, and then NitroShare. I really like NitroShare, but we still have the issue of not being able to read what is back here. I don't know if that's a font issue. On past releases, you could barely see it, and I can't see anything here. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. Let's go ahead and open that back up. You've got Spectacle for your screenshot. And of course, System Monitor, Strike, System Settings, Wave, and Waydroid. Now, Waydroid, if you want to run Android applications on the system, you can. Android type vanilla, dApps. I'm not going to worry about that at present. I'm just going to close out of that. Then we can go back up here. What I want to do real quick is go to Station. Let's open that up and go ahead and run HTOP. And you run an HTOP. I've got 4 cores issued to this machine and 4 gigabytes of RAM. Right now we're using about 1.26 gigs on the RAM, which is, that's something that you're going to be using with a KDE desktop. Now in Garuda, it's a little heavier because there's a lot of more bells and whistles running. If you use something like a Manjaro or something, it's probably going to be sub 1 gigabyte. But when you've got, a system that's got 16 or 32 gigabytes, it really doesn't matter. Now, if you're running on older hardware, this should run just fine. You're not, sitting at 3 gigs at rest. As you can see, you got a global menu up here. Let's go ahead and close that. And we'll go ahead and drop down here to the file manager. Now, Nitrix has their own file manager, and I do like the design of this. I'm not really big on the icons up here. Maybe you guys are. I'm not. If you are, let me know in the comments below. But you can go over here. You've got your home, documents, downloads, music, pics, videos, And then, of course, your root access directory. Then you got your trash right here. Now, if you right click down here, okay, like on Dolphin on KDE, you can right click down here and make changes, but with this one, you can't. Let's go ahead and swing over here. Shortcuts, settings, view hidden files. That would be coming in handy. So if you go over here to the root, scroll down, let's see if there's any hidden files. And it doesn't seem, well, that one I think may have been, I don't know. But anyway, we'll go back and unmark that. Yeah, that was a hidden file that was popping up right there. But once you install it, you're going to have a lot of hidden files. You can just zip on down here, show your hidden right there. And once again, that's an icon. Some people like it spelled out. I do like it. It has a good look to it. It just makes things a little bit more crisper. When I first looked at Nitrix OS, I thought a little bit of Deepin, but Deepin just seems to be a little bit more polished than all the other distros out there. But then again, that's a Chinese developed desktop, and some people don't want to use it. I can understand that. I'm not going to question that. And let's go ahead and close out of the index. Now, the next thing I want to do is go over how you install software on here. So we'll open up the NX Software Center, and I'm going to go ahead and make that full screen so we can see it. And this right here is where you're going to get most of your applications. We're going to have to wait for it because I am in a virtual machine. We'll wait for it to go ahead and get everything loaded down there. And it looks like you've got Dolphin Emulator. You've got some more gaming things there. There's OBS, UG Chrome. Let's go up here and let's just do a search for something like Kdenlive and see what it pulls up. Now, as stated on their homepage on their website, everything here is probably going to be app image. And I'm going to go ahead and just let this look. There's Kdenlive's app image. So you just go over here and click. And then it kind of gives you a Kdenlive is an acronym for KDE Nonlinear Video Editor. Shows that I have not downloaded it. We can scroll down here, app image, 8664, release is stable, software, and then gives you some screenshots up here. Then you've got VLC. So it suggests some things. If you're somebody that's using Kdenlive, you're going to have some more suggestions down here. So I do like that. And then to install it, I guess all you do is click there. What do we got over here? Apps and progress of downloaded apps. But I really like this software center, if that's what you want to call it. I do like the Synaptic package managers and Octopies when you can just go in and type a name, find it, click it, and put it in. But some people do like the overall aesthetic of having a store like this. Let's go up here and let's look. Let's see, categories, subcategories. There's programming. And we are running in a live environment, so it is taking a little bit to preload all the pictures. Let's go back over. What do we got right here? Subcategories, Stacer. That is a great system monitor. I use that on Garuda, Anti-Micro X. So you've got an easy way to install software on this system. I'm going to go ahead and make that back to its regular size and close it. And then, of course, you got Firefox, your Nota, which is your text editor. Let's go ahead and close that. V-Wave audio player, clip video player. And that's what I want to see. Let's go ahead and open up the audio and the video. So they have a pretty smooth aesthetic across the board. Here's your videos. Here's your audio. So they got everything looking similar. That's another thing that I think is going to help Linux in the long run. And what we'll do is come down here. This will show you your open desktops, what you have going on. Close. I'm going to go ahead and minimize that because I wanted to keep that up and running. But there's your desktops. There's desktop 1. You can add desktop 2 and switch to it if you want to. And then, no, you can't mouse wheel and scroll back and forth. So you actually have to go down here and pick the desktop. Okay, where are we at on resources still? 1.31 gigabytes in memory. Okay, we'll go ahead and drop that back down. We'll take a look at settings real quick. We'll go ahead and just put in settings, system settings. Now this should pop up. And as you notice, this looks like your old KDE layout. Now you can switch it over to the icon view, and this is how it comes actually out of the box with Nitrix. But I like switching it over to a view like this because that's what I'm more comfortable with. Just makes it easier for me to use. And in here, you can change a lot of things. I'm not going to go in depth on it. we're running Nitrix Dark. You can switch it over to Nitrix Mix or Breeze, whatever you want to use. That's truly up to you. And I'm saying if you've never used a KDE distro, or if you've never used Nitrix, download it, throw it on a USB, put it through its paces, and then come over to your settings over here and just kind of play around with them. See what you got. See what you can do. The different things you can do. I promise you, once you do that, you won't want to go back to a Windows. And then if you wanted to get new global themes, you just come down here, click Get New Global Themes, find one that you like, install it, and then you can be using it. It's no big deal. So what we're going to do right now is go ahead and close out of this, and we will close out of that. And that, my friends, is a quick look at Nitrix OS. It keeps getting better with every release, a lot less laggy. When I first looked at it 18 months ago, it was pretty slow, but it's a great operating system. Download it, throw it on a USB. Heck, put it in a virtual machine, take it for a test drive. If you do that, please let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for watching the video today. If you think there's something I missed, or if you just want to say hi, drop it in the comments below. Please don't forget to like the video, and thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
Today we're going to take a look at a distribution I haven't looked at in quite a while, but definitely it has made some major jumps in leaps and bounds of overall performance, look, and that would be Big Linux. Now, Big Linux is a Manjaro derivative. I think it's more stable than Manjaro and just a better feel when I use it. Now, when you download it, it's like 3.5 gigabytes. So it's a little bigger than some of the distributions you are going to download, but it does come packed with a lot of great things. Now, if you go over to their website, which is biglinux.com, got a brand new website look. If you guys remember the older website, it was a little bit more cluttered. This is a lot more clean looking. It just tells you Big Linux is the right choice for you. It can solve your needs, whatever needs you might have. It even works without installing, which is not saying much. Most Linux distros will run right off a USB. Talks about Office programs, web apps, something that really Linux meant a couple of years ago, made real popular, and all the other Linux seemed to be falling in line with what Linux Mint did, where you could just have web apps right on your desktop. Online conversations, it's got a built-in microphone noise filter, so it makes your conversations better online. Gaming comes optimized and automations to facilitate game installations with Lutris and Steam. Remote access, restore points, thousands of programs, more space for your files, integration with your smartphone, impressive performance. It's free, always updated. So, I mean, really, here's the thing. I like the 29 languages. That helps out a lot of people because a lot of distributions do come without certain languages on them, and you got to download them. But this one, you kind of just make that choice at the beginning, and then you're good to go. You can run Android apps with a simplified installation of Waydroid. You can use programs that are made for Android on Big Linux. You can convert, resize, multiple desktop configurations. When you first boot into it, it'll ask you what layout you want, and you just pick it. I think I chose the modern layout, but there's 6 to choose from. Use your skills and be a part of the Big Linux community if you want to. And then, of course, right down here, it's got the supporters, CDN77, Cloudflare, Lingo Hub, Nimbus, and then some volunteers that are listed. But I'll go ahead and put the website link in the description below, so that way if you're interested in Big Linux, you can zip over and take a look at it. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that now, and when you download it, this is the screen you're met with. Now, if you right-click it, you can configure your desktop and wallpaper. Not sure in a live mode how many we're actually going to get. Okay, so you do get quite a few different wallpapers here, it seems. Looks like they got a standard themes of bunnies. I kind of like the one it comes with out of the box. You got the bunny with the umbrella. Oh, it looks like you got wobbly windows. Okay, that's pretty cool because I use that on Garuda still. There's a duck, another rabbit. So you get quite a few, and these are kind of cute looking actually. Let's go ahead and change to that. What is that? Okay, so that's a kitty cat. So you have a lot to choose from right there. So we'll go ahead and close out of this. Let's go ahead and apply. I want to keep that background. The cat that looks like he's leading the band or whatever. I don't know. Or maybe he's performing. Is he Romeo and Juliet right there? Who knows? We saw it comes with the Brave browser. You've got the Dolphin file manager. I double-clicked on that. Sorry about that. Dolphin, pretty self-explanatory. Most of you guys have seen me cover it before in previous videos. So I'm going to go ahead and make that large because I like the real icons. I like sometimes having just the outlines, but I like having those real icons. And I do like the overall theme here. It's really crisp. It's clean. It looks good. And everybody knows about Dolphin. It's real easy to use. Lets you get your work done. Stays out of your way. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. And then down here, what do we have? Let's go ahead and open that up. That's right here is your calculator. So that's on your dock. What do we got here? Let's open that up. So you got LibreOffice. So the Office suite they was talking about that was on their website is LibreOffice. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Release notes, 7.6. Help make Libre better, donate. And if we go over here to About LibreOffice, it comes with 7.6.2.1. So that's the most up-to-date version of LibreOffice. Now, I have talked to people and said they're doing their updates and stuff like this. I haven't ran this as a daily driver yet, and I really need to. But I'm really hooked on Garuda right now, so it's hard to jump from Garuda to something else. But it's time for me to pick something else. But if you would like to see me daily drive Big Linux, drop that in the comments below. So what do we got right here? Let's go ahead and open that up. Okay, so there's Kate. That's your text editor. But I really do like the icon set. Now, I do want to open up Control Center. Let's go ahead and open that up so I can show you what we got in there. And Control Center opens up. I'm going to go ahead and make this full screen because I really like this. And I think a lot of Linux distributions are doing something like this. Like you've got MX for years. It's had the MX tools and really gives you a lot of power over your system. Now, right here up at the top, you got Themes, Desktops, and Settings. You can go in here and click Open on that. And this is where right here it gives you the option of what kind of theme you want. I went with the Big Linux Dark. Of course, you can go with whatever you want to. You've got Fluent Dark. So you got, what, 2, 4, 6, 8 themes out of the box. It's KDE. It's not that hard to download other themes that you want to use, but I like that it gives you a choice right out of the box, especially if you're somebody that's new to Linux and you're not familiar with downloading themes and really customizing the way you look. It kind of gives you a little bit of footing there to kind of adjust it a little bit until you feel real comfortable and want to start downloading your own themes. Then you can go to desktop. You've got a classic, you've got KUnity, you've got new, you've got next gen, and you've got modern and Desk X. Desk X, I'm going to say, probably looks a little bit like Mac OS X. I could be wrong or right. If you disagree, throw it in the comments below. I'm using the modern theme, so let's go ahead and close out of that. You got your system and hardware information right here. Let's go ahead and open that up. And I don't need a password to generate a more complete report, so we'll just see what we got here. I think I've got 4 gigs of RAM issued to it and a couple CPUs. I like running it on a little lower end so you can kind of see what it's going to do on your hardware. What I'm going to do right here is you can install or remove drivers right here. I love that. You can generate a report, which will create a file of information that can be published on the internet if you're having issues. Systems installed on a partition size. Kernel that is presently using is 6.1.55-1-Manjaro. So it is using the Manjaro kernel. So what I want to do now is that was our main window. You can go over here. You can look at your processor if you want to, video card, motherboard, memory, audio system, temperature. If you come over here, there's no sensor data found using sysclass. So that would be something that once you installed it and probably did a full update, that would be taken care of. But if not, I'm sure there's steps that you can go through to download the proper software you need for that. Storage, Bluetooth, and then more information. But this control center right here is going to make things a lot easier for simple things. Add and remove users, install drivers and firmware, install a different kernel, introduction to Big Linux, monitor, screen, sound, microphone, snapshots and backups, snap drop, no app required, restore installed system and printers. And then over here, you've got a plethora of different things over here. You got your phone, you got customize, you can click on customize, and you can change things everywhere from application style and auto start all the way down to window decorations and window behavior. Now, I know a lot of this is already included in the KDE settings app, but it's real nice to have a control center on your desktop where you can just click on it and go do what you need to do. Like I said, if you're somebody that's new to Linux, or maybe you've been in Linux for a while, but you're just now coming over to check out an Arch spinoff or an Arch based distro, and you're new at that, this is going to help you quite a bit. And then, of course, you can set your phone up. AirDroid, Android application support, connect to the internet, KDE Connect, Snapdrop, customize, regional multimedia accounts. So we've got a few of the same ones here. So what I'm going to do is close out of that. But I do say that if you download Big Linux and want to take a comprehensive look at it, definitely check out the Control Center. I think it's a great tool, and it's something that a lot of other Linux distributions should be using. That's my personal opinion. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to come down here. We're going to open the application launcher. And first thing I want to see is, do we just put in add and remove to see what kind of software? Add and remove web apps, add and remove software. So there's your add and remove software right there. Let's go ahead and open that up. And as you can see, it's running Paymac just like Manjaro does. Now, the first thing I want to check out is, let's see if they have preferences. There it is right there. Let's open that up. Advanced third party. You can enable, it's already enabled. AUR support is enabled out of the box. Now we go back to general, check for updates, automatically download updates, parallel downloads. Now the first thing I would do before you started installing anything on this system is refresh your mirrors and do it worldwide. If you pick somewhere that's close to your vicinity in the world, my experience is if I leave it on worldwide and I refresh the mirrors, my downloads go much quicker than if I pick somewhere close to me. Don't ask me why, but that's the way it works for me. So I'm going to close out of that. So you've got Paymac to add and remove software. So let's close out of that. Let's go back down to the app launcher. And now I want to go up here. Let's go add and remove web apps. Let's go ahead and open that up. No web app added. So I guess you could just come over here and click add URL. Let's just go YouTube. Come down here and we'll just put YouTube in. And let's detect name and icon. See if it goes ahead and gives us an icon. Let's go ahead and pick that icon and add. See how long that takes. It has been successfully added, so let's close. Now, it's been added in our web apps manager. Now, let's go over here and let's see if YouTube is over here. There it is right there. So let's go ahead and open that up. And it should open up in its own little app look. Okay. Yes, it's going to open in a web wrapper through the Brave browser, but that's pretty simple. So that's a way for you to add shortcuts pretty much to a lot of the sites you're already using. So that's pretty easy, pretty simple. Let's go back down here to the application launcher. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this. I've had people in the past tell me, why do you do that? Why do you go through every little thing? Because it's just the Linux distribution. I understand that, but I also like to let people know what they're getting out of the box. So here you've got games. You got a couple K games, Lutris, Steam, Gwenview for your pictures, Qubit torrent out of the box, Brave browser, reduce microphone noise, simple screen recorder, VLC, LibreOffice we've already covered, add and remove software we've looked at. You've got the big store. Let's go ahead and check that out. That's another thing I wanted to point out is they have their own store. So if you wanted to come over here and install something up here, let's say you wanted to install something like GIMP. Let's go ahead and put in GIMP, hit enter. It should bring up GIMP real quick. It's right there, and it lets you know what version. That's your help files for GIMP, create images and edit photographs. You could install it from there. Now, I did see somebody had put Photo GIMP. Let's see if they actually have Photo GIMP. I doubt they do, but let's see. It's searching the AUR. What Photo GIMP is, guys, is somebody's taken GIMP and kind of added layers on it and added different things in it to make it act more like Photoshop. So that's just, I saw it pop up. I wanted to see if they had it. Let's see if they have Kdenlive. Well, they have Kdenlive. Let's just see what it brings up for Kdenlive. So there's Kdenlive right here. Now, if I hit install right there, what does it bring up? And that would be pretty simple. You just hit the green button, install, and you're good to go. So that's definitely something to check it out. It's going to make things installing a lot easier. Let's go back over here. System, KSysGuard, Dolphin, console, utilities. So that's pretty simple. Web apps, Google. You've already got web apps for Google already installed on here. Now, my personal opinion is if you're somebody that doesn't like Google, get rid of it, uninstall it, make it go bye-bye. That's up to you. If you're somebody that relies on Google Apps and you need them for work or for personal, keep them on there. That's totally up to you. I always tell everybody, use what makes your job easier. Now, what I want to see over here, let's click on that. So that will go full screen and back down. So you've got a little bit of flexibility there. So that's a quick look at Big Linux. If you're somebody that is new to the Arch world or want to try something other than Manjaro or something that's a little bit shinier than some of the distros you've been using, hey man, zip on over, download Big Linux, take it for a test drive. Pretty sure you'll be happy, and I'm pretty sure you'll like it. If you enjoyed the videos, please leave a comment below. And if you didn't, hey, throw me a comment down there too and let me know what you didn't like about it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.